The trapezius muscle, or better known as traps, I think are often overlooked because they're not necessarily a flashy muscle that get a lot of attention when it comes to the athletic build. But that's really unfortunate because traps are incredibly important for your everyday health. A strong trapezius is going to keep you from slouching and also could help prevent a lot of back pain for you in the future. And that's because traps mostly do two things. The first is that it helps move and stabilize the scapula, which normal people call the shoulder blade, and this is the flat triangular bone on your upper back. And this matters because a healthy shoulder blade impacts nearly all of your arm and shoulder movements. But the second thing that traps do, and something I think a lot of people forget, is that it's responsible for your neck and head extension, as well as keeping a tight posture. Having a weak trapezius often causes the body to slouch and slump, which in turn pulls a lot of your back muscles out of their alignment. So, as you can see, despite the muscle being a smaller one, if it's not working properly, your spine and neck are going to pay the price, and that's a deadly combo. So, let's get into it. The trapezius is similar to the pec in that it's separated into three parts: upper, middle, and lower. Starting with the upper traps, you cannot go wrong with a shoulder shrug. However, when I see a lot of people do these, I see them standing up straight, and that's not wrong. You know, it's a perfectly fine way to do it. But what will allow you to hit your upper and middle traps is if you keep your back straight and lean forward just about 15 degrees. Then by continuing to shrug, you'll be applying tension to more of your back, so a larger portion of your muscles will get involved. So for your shrugs, arms slightly bent. For this move, you don't want to be so aggressively rigid. We're not locking our arms in place. Then we shrug our shoulders. I know this seems basic, but try not to lean forward. Your shoulders should be going up to your ears and not causing you to curve your back. And then last, we are not going to involve our elbows. This is a shoulder shrug and not a lift with your arms. If your elbows are bending, you're doing more of a hang clean motion, and that's going to attack your shoulders more than your traps. Don't get me wrong, they're both great workouts, but it's important to be able to feel the difference between them and the different muscle groups. When it comes to hand placement, you can have them in the neutral or pronated position. It doesn't really matter as long as the way you're holding the weight doesn't misalign your body as you're shrugging. And of course, this is the most basic form of the shoulder shrug. If you guys want a more in-depth video describing all of the different types you can do, let me know in the comment section below. But for now, just know that most of the differences between shoulder shrugs come down to preference. The different variations generally come down to the methods of which you can hold the weight, to which people are going to have a lot of differing opinions depending on what their goals are. You know what? I take that back. Even if you don't want that video, like, comment, and subscribe because it helps me get this video out to a lot more people. Anyway, moving on. Now we are getting to the good stuff because I don't see a lot of people talking about how to truly attack the lower trap muscle, which is crazy because in my opinion, it is the most important muscle when it comes to fixing your posture. So first, we have the standing external rotation drill. You're going to start by having your elbow bent at 90 degrees. With your band, you're going to rotate out, making a W with your arms, and you're going to keep your core tight and move slow. Some of you might notice that this is very similar to a cable external rotation. It's essentially the same move, but you're only using one side and your arm stays at a 90-degree angle. However, this move focuses a little bit more on the shoulder and the rotator cuff. However, I find that the standing external rotation uses more of your traps because since you're using your arms at the same time, more of your back is involved, and it forces you to recognize the proper alignment of your back because of the way your posture is forced into the position as your back muscles move. So that's one workout, but the last thing we're going to go over are prone Y drills. And listen, I'm just going to have you guys hear me out for a quick second. I know that these are going to look stupid as but they are so good for you, and I'm just gonna have you get over it, okay? You're gonna start on the floor with your thumbs up and your arms out in the shape of a Y. Next, we lift our arms slowly. You're gonna hold that position for about 10 seconds, and then slowly lower them down. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can lie down on a bench with a small amount of weight in your hand and do the same motion, lifting up your arms, holding them there for a little bit, and lowering them back down. Now, these lower trap movements that we went over today are not going to get you jacked, and they frankly aren't going to look that impressive, but you are doing yourself a disservice by not adding them into your routines every once in a while because the trapezius muscle is the kind of glue that holds your back together. If they're not functioning properly, everything else is going to suffer. The one really good thing about these movements is that it's nearly impossible to do them wrong, so I feel very comfortable telling people just to go ham. Now, regarding posture, tell me if I'm on the money with this one, because I believe that a lot of people have bad posture in the gym because they are flexing. When you have your abs crunched and your shoulders forward, that top-down lighting is going to make you look gorgeous. But it also just happens to be the worst position for training your muscles in. If you find yourself curving your back while you're working out because you're trying to look as cool as possible, I just need you to know that I see you. I know what you're doing. I get it. Now cut it out. Don't get trapped in having bad traps. I don't know if I sold that one. Oh. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, if you have any questions or concerns, put them in that comment section down below. I'm happy to elaborate or clear up any confusion that you might have. So, thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see ya next time.